This week on Yamaha Whitetail Diaries, we're with the crew back in Kentucky for the opening week of archery season.
We are in the beautiful state of Bluegrass, Kentucky right now, and out for another round of the opening bow season weekend, and very excited to get back out in the field. And man, this is really the kickoff for us when it comes to our hunting season, or at least it is for me.
Leaving camp for his second day hunt, Scott is heading back to a tree stand overlooking a small field on the edge of the Salt River.
First night we climbed up there and had a great stand, a great view, but just had a doe that came out and then two smaller bucks, and I think we got in the stand around 4 o'clock and didn't even see anything until about 8 o'clock. So it was a very long sit, and with that in mind, and also knowing how much traffic was going through there, I mean, we want to make sure that when we came in the second day, we got in early. We're going to put down some golden nuggets just to really make sure that they had a food source to be able to come to again. All right, so we're getting golden nuggets out there by Record Rack. And go spread that out a little bit, because like I said, there's been so much out there last night. I mean, does galore, bucks, raccoons, everything, but there's just so much traffic running through. We want to make sure that they still have a reason to keep on coming back. So going in for the second night, want to make sure that we did everything that we possibly could to not only cover our scent, but do anything that would help keep the deer calm. So we went in, sprayed down with the Atco, just make sure there's no scent on us. And even with the Evercalm, I put it on my boots, put it on the tree, even had a stink stick that was hanging with the Evercalm in it, just so that if the deer did come in, that they were going to be calm and cool, collected, just like I was trying to be the entire time.
So just got in the stand, put down some golden nuggets and everything too, and same spot as yesterday. There's been a lot of stuff moving through. Things have actually warmed up, so I'm hoping that means it'll come out earlier, because that's kind of like what the temperature has been. But it's about 5 o'clock now. Probably still be a couple hours till we see something, but nice, pretty quiet day, so no complaints.
It was pretty much just like day one, where there was just nothing for the longest time. And as we're sitting there, I'm looking off to my right, and the deer that I think legitimately is a descendant of Hook, he was standing right there. So, you know, I strongly feel like with that scent control, with the Evercalm, like that worked, because he walked nearly right underneath us, didn't even like spot us, didn't like sniff around anything whatsoever. But I knew that was a good sign, just knowing that if he didn't smell us at that point, that we're good. And I was also hoping, since he came in a lot earlier, that everything else would be coming earlier too. So he finally comes out in front of us in the corn pile. A doe from yesterday, she was out there as well, and definitely seemed a lot more calm than before. And of course, lo and behold, there's some random noise that was off in the distance that just kind of spooked him. She started blowing. They both ran off in the woods. She was blowing, I mean, it seemed like 30 or 40 times, and I'm sitting there thinking like, oh, well, you know, there goes our whole entire night. And out of nowhere, there's a buck that comes in from the left and another buck that comes in from the right. And they just appeared out of nowhere. I mean, I think they came in right along the area to where everything was blocked with all the trees, the different limbs, to where my line of sight did not jive with where their path was. And the one ended up being right out there in front of us in the food plot. The other one was off to the left. He was definitely a smaller one. And the one that was right in front, beautiful buck, great buck. And I also saw another one that was coming into the right as well. So I was like, okay, even though that one's standing right out there in front of me, I want to see what else is coming in. I wanted them all to come in, kind of get settled, chill out for a little while. And The other buck, no question about it, he was a great one too. And I, at that point, with 2 bucks in front of me that were shooters, I was really just focusing on calming down and just kind of assessing the situation, keeping the heart rate down, doing the best I could at least, and just waiting for the one that I liked that had this kicker off to the side, even like a little quasi-drop tine, and I even had some velvet hanging off him. I just thought it was a super cool buck. I was totally in love with him right when I saw him. And he ends up kind of pushing the other one away. When he pushed the other one away because he was behind, he was quartering away from me, which was just perfect position for me. So I just saw him, went back, drew, and it was probably, I don't know, 5 seconds it feels like, an eternity at the time, but made sure that the Garmin sight was right on there, dropped the dot on it, had a good smooth release, and man, it's just great impact right away.
We're in the field, high up in a hot tree stand with Yamaha's Scott Newby. Just before the break, and after a long sit, 2 bucks wandered in. Less than 30 yards out and quartering away, Scott raised his blackout bow and put the Garmin sight right on the money.
We got arrow in, and he just kind of ran out to the side. I didn't hear any crashing, but he definitely got a solid hit on him. So fingers crossed. Now I overanalyze everything, but adrenaline was going. I mean, I'm literally standing up because I'm getting all sort of antsy from being in a stand so long, and the step there poking in my back, but did not expect that at all. Totally thought that the night was shot. So now we're just gonna give it some time.
With the sun setting and a deer down, we'll get back to Scott's hunt in a bit. Meanwhile, some 45 minutes away, Wade Middleton is set up in a blackout pop-up ground blind.
Welcome to Pop-Up Middleton.
Hunting a small clearing overlooking a pond and surrounded by soybeans, the Stealth Cam game cameras have recorded a lot of traffic in the area, though the bigger bucks seem to be moving mostly at night.
You know, when we got into our setup, it was pretty cool. We brought a blackout pop-up in, set it up, brushed it in, got in here super early. Everything really looked good. I mean, it was bleeding in great, sitting up on top of a pond dam, soybean fields all around us. We had a little buck and a handful of does kind of come in. Evidently, they kind of spotted the pop-up, I think. I don't know, they got a little nervous, didn't really blow, just kind of flagged and ran off. Then I saw a couple more bucks, little bucks, out in the soybeans milling around. All in all, a really engaging, really fun set.
Bass Pro's Blackout brand offers a wide selection of bows, accessories, targets, and blinds. Scan the QR code for a direct link. Heading back a little closer to camp, we'll check in with Yamaha's Steve Nessel.
There's a lot of cool reasons to be up here at this time of year, and I have had some success. I've killed some big bucks. Probably one of my most prized trophies, you know, I have several really good whitetail, but one of the best is the one I took up here a few years ago, not too far from where I sit right now, and it was opening day, 2 hours in, and it's helping me live a happier time of my life as we get to my hunt this year. We started at a place called the Big Hill where we knew there were a couple of shooters. Realistically, it wasn't very long before we saw a deer. We had a doe and a couple fawns. We had a small little dink. We had an 8-point. We were seeing deer. Nowhere near a shooter. Get down, go back, look at cameras, make a game plan for the next day, and we'll get after it. I guess my immediate assumption is we come back to the Big Hill, but there was another stand a little further up, and we knew there were deer on it as well. We didn't have a camera on it. They were feeding both spots, and we decided, I don't want to say last minute, we talked about it throughout the day, maybe we go up and see what, maybe that shooter was up on that other stand, because he didn't come to the Big Hill stand. So we did, we made a move. Night 2, we're in this great spot. And again, I loved it, except for I was exposed, and we don't have anything out in front of us. You could see there's been traffic. Like, there are deer in this area. They've blown it up. And we started seeing deer quite a bit right away, but wind wasn't good. Why? Because they were coming from everywhere. Wind wasn't there's probably not a good wind up at that spot. Saw a few deer, didn't come close to getting a shot. What was the worst part about the evening? Trail cameras. Looking at our phone, the deer we were hunting was at the Big Hill stand for about 40 minutes. So we're sitting up there and I'm looking at him on my phone and he's standing as a crow flies, probably 400 to 500 yards away. Funny and frustrating all at the same time.
Adding insult to injury, Steve's hunt ended when he got busted by a small doe. And that will wrap up day 2.
It's all good. A little exposed in this spot, a lot more to see. I got busted actually because a doe came up from behind. So I was a bad hunter. But yeah, I think the plan right now would be go back to the spot we were at first night. But that has yet to be determined.
You know, the cool thing about where we're staying at is there's a pond right in front of the house. And I mean, as we're doing this interview, I'm sitting down here looking at it.
It's not a real big pond, but it's got a lot of fish in it. You know, the first year we came here, we had heard how good the fishing was. We caught a bunch of fish, we fried them up. So this year, we fully had a plan.
We're gonna get some minnows, we were gonna do it old school, throw a minnow and a cork out there, and we were gonna catch a heck out of them. I mean, we had this all planned perfect.
Ready? Where you going here?
Up a little bit. There.
There we go.
And would you like a receipt?
Yes, please.
All right, I'll do it.
So we got our 6 dozen minnows here for the night, or at least for the next couple of days. Got them in the Engel live bait coolers. And you can see them all in there, at least in one of them, all chilling out, ready to go. And if we can have some fun, have a good time tonight, and if we need more, we'll come back and get more.
Yeah.
Thank you
Hope
very much.
You guys have a great day.
Thank you very much. You too. Appreciate it.
No problem.
The Engel cooler did a great job. I mean, them were newborn minnows.
I think they sell these as guppies as well as minnows. I mean, I don't know if I've ever bought, you know how like they'll say crappie minnows and bass minnows? This is bluegill minnows. We're drowning our minnows. We've caught a couple. I think Scott caught one that was a keeper by the bush, and somebody caught one reeling their minnow in, and you know, one committed suicide and bit. I'm thinking we're gonna starve.
Yeah, the plan was to sit in a chair, sit on the bank, throw a cork and a minnow out there and just sit there and watch the cork. That ain't the way I fish, and if they're not biting, I'm one of them people that the grass is always greener on the other side. We gotta get in that boat and get out there to where they're at.
This is bold right here, boys. So we decided to go back in our old reliable boat that Jeff and I had bailed out the year before. I mean, this boat is so old, it's got stuff that grows out the side of it.
I had to run the anchor, which by the way was not a real anchor. It was a cinder block that we found out there laying around the pond. Kevin had a rope in his truck, so we tied that up. This was redneck fishing 101.
So, since I'm in the middle, I start fishing straight down. I catch one right away. I thought, oh, this fixing to be good. Boys. That's what I'm talking about right there.
Dang.
I mean, barely had that old paper mouth. He smoked it. One crank off the bottom, old school crappie fishing right there.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, attaboy.
Oh, that's a fatty
That's a
too.
big one.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, that's, God, I mean, what more fun is that? You're fishing in a pond, old school fishing with a
Yeah,
tree
buddy.
going out of your boat, and you're gonna eat them.
Got another one.
Getting back to business, we'll check in with Yamaha's Scott Newby.
All right, so we got the 2025 RMAX 21000 XTR here and have a lot of Yamaha Junior accessories we're going to install in the vehicle as well. Great thing about our accessories is that all of our guys down in Kennesaw, Georgia, they're the ones that design, test, make sure that all these accessories have the perfect fit and finish on our vehicles, and they're designed what they're going to do be just as proven off-road and reliable as our vehicles are. What we're really focused on today for the accessories we're going to be installing is all about storage. And so now we're just going to take these flush mount screws and actually put them here on the inside, so when you go and put that bed extender in there, it's not going to interfere with any clearance issues or anything like that and rubbing against it at all. All right, so now that we installed all that, we are good to hook in our bed extender. It just works on the pivot point that's on the tailgate here. And then comes with 2 large thumb screws as well as a lock washers here. So you just put the lock washer on and we just thread it right into the bracket that we already installed. Get it down nice and tight. Same thing, lock washer on your thumb screw. And coming right through here. Great thing with that is that if you want to remove this, all you have to do is just take out these 2 thumb screws and you just simply unhook the bed extender and you can go back to closing the tailgate. Otherwise, very simple, easy way to increase your cargo space, very easy to install. And now we're going to move up to the front doors and add those storage bags as well, just to increase our storage capacity while out on the trail. Another more cool Yamaha Junior accessories is the storage door bag that goes just on the inside of the doors here. Got the Wolverine branding on it, but cool thing is they're actually weather resistant as well, so keeps out any sort of elements, water, all that good stuff. So you want to keep trail maps in here. I mean, heck, even if you got a stink stick or something, you can throw it in there, flashlights, all that good stuff. But just 4 simple screws that go on the side of the door here with a couple of washers that go along with it. That's literally it. Head up to the other side now. If you'd like to learn more about our Yamaha Junior accessories, as well as see our full proven off-road lineup of ATVs and side-by-sides, you can visit your local Yamaha dealer or go to YamahaMotorsports.com.
Coming up, we'll head back to the field. It's all hands on deck. We're just outside of Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, on the edge of the Salt River for the opening week of archery season. Earlier in the show, on the second day of his hunt, Yamaha's Scott Newby released a Blackout SX3 arrow and watched it hit its mark.
I mean, it was, you saw it go in and it stuck in him, and then he ran off with the other buck. And of course, I'm watching it go into the woods the entire time and just want to track to make sure I know where he's going.
You know, when they're quartered away like that, if you can aim where that arrow goes into that deer and hits that opposite side shoulder, you're taking out liver, you're probably going to take out lung depending on the angle. And that deer usually doesn't go very far.
Kevin felt like he had to be ahead of us. No, he's even walking backwards in the dark. That's bold.
And now we can't see with the
I
light
can't see
eyes.
nothing. All we're gonna see is the light pointed at the sky, and then it goes back.
After 2 hours were up, we just headed right back in and to give it a chance and start tracking.
There's blood. There's blood.
Oh yeah, over here. Oh, he's right there. Yes! He did not go far at all.
I thought that angle, that arrow was sticking up the whole time.
Oh man.
What a stud.
Heck yeah.
Dang, that's a good deer.
Oh, thank you. Oh, shoot, yeah. That's too cool.
That velvet hanging off of it.
Yeah. Man, that's awesome. Whew. Thankfully, did not go far at all.
I mean, it was just the most exciting thing when you have everyone else there with you too, just to celebrate. It was just a phenomenal occasion. I mean, I couldn't even sleep later that night. I was just so excited.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, sir. Oh, thank you very much.
That'll do it for this week. We'll see you next time when we wrap up our Kentucky archery hunt with Salt River Outfitters. To learn more or to book a hunt, look them up at saltriverhunts.com. Keep up with the Yamaha Whitetail Diaries on social media. We're pretty easy to find. And remember, for the very best in gear, electronics, and more, Bass Pro and Cabela's have you covered.